Crazy deja vu. Oh man. Anywho, back to it. We already went through the. So we introduced everybody here. We disconnected the server. Shat itself. That seems to be alright. There's Manfred. There's another Spino. Alright, so here are the birds. There's some birds. Now, when I first started this, let me explain. I thought that, they would get the stats passed down regardless of the points were, put into them. That's not how that works, hence why these exist. Also, hence why these ones exist. But, they're useless. They're not useless, but now they can just be used for regular day purposes. Now, let's get into the gritty of it. This bird that is right here, we'll get into that later. But it's not mine, per se, but it really is a bitch. But before I go to there, I actually want to go ahead, let you see. There's my tech quetzal. It's a giant tech bird. It's a robo bird that Shadow gave me, Kiwi. It's a pretzel named Quetzal. It's a Tetzel. We also have a T-Rex that Shadow gave me, named Princess. We also have Token Black Rex. Amanda, which is the child of some of these fucking things. We have Token Black Rex. Oh, wait, no. That's Tekken Black Rex, because he's a Tech Rex. We have Token Black Rex. Apparently there's one just named Rex. Not me. One named Skull. Not me. And then we have Token Black Rexana. This thing can swim. Okay. So we'll get to this in a little bit. This little shack here is where I will breed and incubate, well, not breed, incubate the eggs of the Spinos and the T-Rex. So Spinos go this side, Rexes go on this side. And there's a fridge containing all their eggs. And some other extra juicy ones in there too, including a Giga. Which that will take 10 hours to hatch, which I don't have time. Alright, so to the meat of the I don't know the saying. You say it, Kiwi. It's to the meat of the thing. These are my Argy farm. There's all of my Argentavises that I have bred. So, pretty much what happens is these things pretty much breed with each other. There is a lot of inbreeding, but the game doesn't give us any consequence or punishment for it, so it's okay. Long story short, and if you want to know about it, you're free to ask me. I might have the papers on me. But I have papers, right now 3 whole papers, that has the stat of every single bird that's literally in this pen. Every single one, including these little newborns right here. And so, what we do is, what me and Shadow had to do firsthand was to go find certain birds in the wild. And we neutralize them, like knock them out. We first determine if it's a high enough level, right? For the most part, we were just looking for anything that was roughly above 30. That was the minimum. Anything below it, we couldn't care less for. It was above 30, anything above 30, depending on it. If we really wanted a high one, we would set the threshold to anything above 40. But in this instance, most instances we kind of were just like, we couldn't really be picky. It didn't seem like we were getting a lot of birds that were up in their 30s and stuff like that. So we weren't trying to be too picky, but we would do like 30 and above if it wasn't going so well for us, or 40 and above if we were getting fairly lucky. And of course, we had some birds that were literally just level 60, which was really good. So we find the bird, we knock it out, to figure out what its stats are, because you can't figure out its stats in the wild. You can only figure out its level. So we knock it out. Once we do, we see its stats. We go on a website that tells us, that lets us calculate where those individual points in stats went. Once we figured out that this bird particularly has more points in, let's say, its health stat, or that's where the points are invested, we can tame it. We'll tame it, and depending on the effectiveness will determine how many bonus levels it gets. You and I had this conversation in the car, but I figured I'd share it with you again once more. The taming effectiveness lets us know how many bonus levels it will get after it's been tamed. 100% taming effectiveness will grant the creature half the levels of its current level. So if we tamed a level 62 bird and we were taming it, and the taming effectiveness would be 62 minus 1. The fuck? Hold that thought. Sorry about that. Anywho, before I was really interrupted. So because this is level 62, there's only 61 points that are invested because at level 1 you don't have points. So there's 61 points, so 61 divided by 2 is 35.5. I think they round it up, so it's either going to have 35 levels at 100% taming effectiveness or 34. Either or, those levels will be applied after it's been tamed. So we were taming a level 60 and it had 30 levels and a taming effectiveness with 100% taming effectiveness. When it's finished taming, it will be level 90. And those 30 points, 30 levels, will be distributed to the random stats. So in Argentavis, so the random stats will be between health, stamina, oxygen, food, weight, melee damage. Movement speed for flyers isn't a stat you can upgrade. However, it is considered a wasted stat in flying creatures. So in this case, the Argentavis. So points, in theory, could be in the movement speed, not set by the player, but they're considered wasted stats because you can't change the movement speed of a flyer. So, well, after the taming's done, this is level 60, it gets those 30 levels, it becomes level 90. And then those stats are randomly distributed. From there, why the fuck is this? Shadow dropped a Parasaur in here. I was like, how did it get in here? And I was like, I had to think about it for a second. But, anywho. I lost my train of thought. So it's at level 90, the 30 points will go into random stats. For the most part, we haven't seen, like, it changed dramatically, or after we tamed something, we just had to get rid of it because those bonus stats went into the wrong thing. We have actually not had that happen, and we're lucky. So we did that with a bunch of birds in between, between males and females. And we had those males and females mate to create the offspring that are kind of before us. A lot of these birds, and I literally mean roughly 95% of them, are literally children between 1 and 2 of the originals. It's crazy when you really want to, when you sit down and think about it. But that's kind of how it went, how it goes. She had a brain fart, just scatterbraining, because Shadow's over here with his fucking bug. So yeah, that's multiple children from the parents. And so far, we've got it down to where we have female birds that actually have all 4 stats that we want. And that would be... where is she? She's somewhere over here. So far, our lovely Francesca has the health stat that was passed, the high health stat that was passed down, followed by the high stamina stat, the high weight, and melee. We don't care about oxygen and food because oxygen means if it goes underwater, the Argentavis literally cannot go underwater. You cannot physically ride an Argentavis underwater. The food doesn't matter because Andrew set it to where our dinos cannot starve. Because trying to keep these things fed is stressful enough as is. So, stats going into these two are completely useless for us. Maybe land creatures, oxygen could probably matter, but we don't care about that. We only care about health, stamina, weight, and melee damage when it comes to the dinos. Because in this instance, the dinos are separated into like 3 categories. Dinos that are good at harvesting, which need a lot of stamina and weight. dinos that are good at fighting bosses or fighting things, which would be health and attack, melee damage. So those are the main 4 stats we care about. Of course, you can have you can have birds and stuff like that. It's good to have just a dino with all of these, so that way it's a versatile dino. Hold on, Kiwi. I'm answering the text message of you wanting to know if we're going to go bring the food home. I'm going to let you know that we are going to go sit down and eat. So give me a second and let me do that. Just letting you know, we can sit down and eat. Just finishing up some things. Then I'll be heading to you. Love you. Heart, heart, heart. Cake. Sent. Oh, and whale. Can never forget the whale. Anyway, so yes, Francesca has the health stat, the desired health stat, which is 2044, the desired stamina stat, which is 720, the desired weight stat, which is 608 as of right now, and the desired melee stat of 225.8. All these other birds, based on their name, well, for her, because her name's so long, you couldn't see melee. But each bird is based off, you know, if it's a male or female, females will have a female name, and they'll say what they have as their highest stat. So Beth has the highest health, stamina, and melee. So it should be the same as Francesca. So, like I said, there is no bird that we have that has, in this pen, that has a higher, this is the desired health stat across the board. So, the same, if any of these birds have health in their name, that means they have that amount of health. There are exceptions where some have more health than others, but the majority of them have the 2044 in terms of health. So let's say I want to potentially have a child that has the health, has Beth's health, stamina, and melee. Okay? So I would probably mate her with, hold on if I can find them. With this one, Andrew, because he too has health, stamina, and melee. Those are his natural born stats. So if Andrew mates with Beth over here, their child is guaranteed to have those stats, because this offspring receives a 55% receives one of the stats from its parents. That's pretty much it. It'll either receive the stat from its mom or its dad. So let's say, for example, little Erwin here was a child of Beth and Andrew. He would receive either or one of their health stats, their stamina, their oxygen, food, weight, or melee damage between one of them. It's not like he'll receive all of his dad's stats and none of his mom's stats. It's each individual stat has a chance, 50-50 chance between going from each parent. That's what makes this breeding process hard, because if you wanted a bird with all 4 stats, you gotta do the probability of 50-50 between 1, 2, 3, 4 different stats. And of course, the math in that means that it takes even more to get that perfect bird off the bat. So that's why we have so many birds here. Because even if we fail at getting it, let's say I breed a male and a female with like 3 different desired stats. Well, with 4 different desired stats between the both of them. I have an offspring that doesn't have all 4 stats, but it has 3 of the 4. That's still good, especially if it's a female, because in this game, females have a cooldown for when they mate, while males can constantly mate no matter how much time. So the more females we have with those stats, that increases our chances of potentially getting the offspring that we want with the amount of stats between the different females. Because a lot of these females also have roughly the same stats. I can explain more of this to you in person when I see you, but I figured when we watch this together, if you wanted to ask questions about it. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was very go away, Shadow. I'm kidding, Shadow, I love you. I was very, happy to hear you ask me about it because I was very invested in it. Like this is a game and stuff like that. It's a game I enjoy playing. I really wish that the others would be able to play this a little bit more, like Schmitty, Jacob, Jesus, and Becca. But of course, we know they got their responsibilities. They got things going on in life. So it's not like they don't want to play. It's just they don't always have the time to play. So I can respect that. So yeah, and I'm running painfully late. I wouldn't say painfully late, but I am kind of running late. So I'm gonna wrap this up a little here. But yeah, that's pretty much the Argentavis farm and stuff like that. Next time, actually next time I can probably show you the paper that I have that has all of their stats, and I can explain to you that way. And all that jazz. Probably be a lot better to do it that way. So that's what I'll do. So yeah, as the title of the stream says, it ain't much, but it's honest work. Because now, once we get a male and a female that have all 4 stats, like Miss Francesca over here, that's actually the main goal. Getting a male that has the same stats as Francesca. Well, the same health, stamina, weight, and melee. Once we do that, all we need to do is just breed those 2, and they'll keep producing Argentavises with the high stats until we find, which brings me to my next point, and which Shadow brought, this. So right now, we are only 1 male away from having our base pair of Argentavises to breed for life on this server. And then Shadow brought this. This bitch. And it's a appropriate name that he gave her. Here's why. The highest melee stat in our collection of Argentavis is over there is 225.8%. That's the highest melee. Now, he found this. If you don't see it, let me explain it. That melee damage is its base melee damage. That's 260.9% melee damage. That's the highest melee damage in an Argentavis in our possession as of right now. Which means if we wanted Argentavises to have that offspring, that means she has to mate all with our highest, with our male with the most stats, and hopefully produce a male or female that has the male's 3 stats plus this one's melee stat. Which, as we've already discussed, is a low chance of happening. So we're probably going to have a lot of birds that are going to have this melee stat, and we got to hope that we can start to get the stats slowly, bit by bit, before we can get the one with all 4. Which, once again, isn't necessarily bad. But it just means that pin's gonna need to get a lot bigger. But that's another bridge for another day. For now. Okay, it's the Spino's tail coming out the wall. That's normal. But for now, we'll let it be. It's okay. You're not really a bitch. You just complicated things. But it's not your fault for being great. Look at it. Look how pretty she is. She just wants to peck my entire upper torso off of my body. Anywho, Kiwi, I'll be seeing you soon. We gotta have dinner tonight. What are you doing, Shadow? Hold on. Can I punch him? Fucker. Love you. Hi, Shadow. Alright, so yeah. That's it. Oh, God. Alright, okay. Alright. Let's put you on the roof. And with that, Kiwi, I'll be seeing you soon. Once again, it ain't much, but it's honest work. Love you. Bye.